I'm Nikki, and today I'm going over the deck I'm bringing to the May 2026 Revival Tournament for the Harry Potter trading card game. I threw this together like an hour before submission. Um, I made what's it called? Um, Lost Magic 1 came out, which is the latest set in the uh in the long list of sets that the Revival team has so graciously provided us to mess around with, right? Bunch of things got released. Most of which are like I want to say they're rather niche, but there's a couple of standouts in my opinion. Um, this card is kind of crazy. I feel like it should have had a um like non-lesson type or like yeah like non-lesson should have definitely been on here because it opens up like some locks, I guess. Like if your opponent, like I don't know, like that's not what the thing like that, like I'm going on a tangent, right? Like um there's a bunch of stuff that I think is very interesting and is probably going to need some development for them to see play. But something I found like really plug and play, like right off rip, is Bloody Baron. Bloody Baron is really, 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 really good because um, that's the thing that character decks struggle most with is there's something that is being very oppressive, like maybe it's creatures, maybe it's maybe it's creatures, maybe it's a faux glass that is preventing things from coming down. Like there's little targeted removal in character decks. Um and on top of that, it has a Slytherin keyword because it's a Slytherin house ghost, obviously. So the idea is that this card is probably really good if you use him with Dippet starter. Dippet got eroded, I think it was last year, to where proc you can proc him every time you use an action to play a a card that matches one of the houses, right? In keywords. So the idea is now you can like try to play something very controlly, like something very orientated on being able to constantly play out bloody barons and not really feeling the drawback of needing to discard 3 cards in play, because there's a bunch of stuff that you can actually do to mitigate the damage that is to mitigate the damage that your opponent is doing for one, and then to mitigate the fact that you're losing cards, right? And they both kind of and it all like kind of comes together in a pretty way. I haven't played any games with this deck, but it seemed rather self-explanatory, and there was only 1 hour before the deadline, so without further ado, I'm just gonna continue yapping for like the next 10 minutes, I guess. So, the idea is we play Dip It, and then we play Bloody Barons, but then, we're just controlling the board. We're not really doing anything with it. So, the next card I really want to highlight is Moaning Myrtle, because as far as character cards that don't see much play after they've been released, like this is probably one of them, right? Um, I think like uh like her text is kind of the like her text is kind of like the exact thing that I was saying at the beginning, right? It kind of like builds up upon that. So like I don't understand how this card was ever printed if there's no real way to if there's no real way to guarantee something gets removed on the turn that you play Myrtle. But they fixed that because now Bloody Baron and Moaning Myrtle kind of go hand in hand together. And if you do not have to draw cards, so if you can if you have the liberty to choose to deal 2 damage to your opponent while you play Moaning Myrtle Bloody Baron, that's 12 damage, and you remove a piece from your opponent's board. So that's nothing to sneeze at, right? So that's basically what this whole deck is built around. It's built around finding your Bloody Baron, finding Myrtle, and playing them together as fast as possible, deal damage, and overwhelm your opponent this way, while also having enough healing, because I do run 4 copies of Kitchen House Elves. I run 3 copies of Snape, and I have 3 copies of Magical Mess Remover, right? So the plan is I'm going to play more than the plan is I'm going to be playing more than 1 Snape, and I'm going to be playing more than 1 House Elf, more than 1 pack of Kitchen House Elves. Or rather, I do apologize. To be able to withstand most things that my opponent might throw at me. So the main reason why I think that the Bloody Baron is not really any drawback, in like losing the 3 cards is not that bad, is because of Colin, right? Like you can use Colin and then go ahead and play your Bloody Baron combo, play your Bloody Baron Myrtle combo, and either you already have Godric out because Godric's in this deck too, so you get your action back from Colin if Godric's out, and then you still have the actions to play your combo, and then it doesn't really matter what you it matters slightly, but then you're not hurt that badly because there's more chances of you finding cards that you not necessarily need for the next 2 or 3 turns. And then with Kitchen House Elves, you can feed those cards that you have just discarded because of Bloody Baron. You can feed those right back into your deck, because if you play 2 Kitchen House Elves, then you have 4, then you heal 4 at the end of every turn, and you can just continue, you can continuously feed your own combo pieces back into your deck and then go find them with Bill. Because if you're playing a character deck, you have to, in my opinion, I think Bill Weasley is probably one of the cards that you should run 4 of. And if not, there's I hope there's a very good reason that you're not, because just a straight up tutor 1 action finds anything, and you can play it again if you if you have a mess remover on the field, if you have a mess remover in hand or multiple. So this deck is all about finding your combo pieces and then trying to make sure that you can play it as much as possible, as often as possible, and overwhelm your opponent this way. As another way to win the game, we have 2 copies of Griphook in here. We have 3 copies of Rita. The way I've been doing this in practice, where I just start a room up by myself, is the turn before you magical mess remover your things away, you can play Rita and ping for 6 to 7 damage, so that you keep up the pressure constantly. And then Colin also feeds cards into the hand of our opponent, so that way we can deal even more damage with Griphook. I am going for a slightly more control-y route in this deck. The character decks have brought me the most success so far playing in these tournaments. The last deck I played was a Weasley deck, a Weasley tribal deck with Grandfather Clock and Arthur, and that played more like a combo deck, right? You're playing all your pieces and then you try to play Clock, and then you want to make sure the Clock's on the board. While I feel like this deck is more of it's more of a control-y style deck, but at the same time it does have some combo elements, right? I play 2 cards and I deal 12 damage to my opponent, and like I don't know, my neurons just start firing in my head, and I'm just a happy panda when that stuff happens, you know. Um, are there other cards I want to highlight? There's Hannah. Um, this playing this deck in the way I've constructed it will be a practice of will be an exercise in when do I use Hannah, because there's gonna be times where I wish I wouldn't have healed with kitchen house elves, because now those things are into like now those things are in the discard pile. Now those things are back in my deck and not in my discard pile, so I can't pick them up with Hannah. So it's gonna be a test of patience, I think this deck is. And as soon as I figured out like when to use Hannah, I think this can be become a very deadly combo, in which I can just continuously remove things my opponent is doing while also pushing damage, and also pushing damage and creating lots of passive healing. I feel like um, I feel like Bloody Baron kind of replaces Seamus in a standard control character list. The way I'm looking at it right now, like you're giving up an extra card, and instead of gaining an extra action to further instead of getting an extra action you can use for everything, you give up cards to remove a combo piece from your opponent, or remove a board piece of your opponent. Is there more cards I feel like I need to point out? I'm going Divination Potions mainly because I want to play Out of Bounds third floor. Uh, Come on. There we go. So, as you can see, the card is borked on untap, and I'm getting flashbanged by the screen. Um, um, so I mainly wanted to play this because of the fact that Azkaban is just so prominent these days. There's just a lot of people playing Azkaban, and I cannot be asked to deal with it. So as soon as I see an Azkaban come out, I'm just gonna try to find this as quickly as possible. Um, it's funny too because that way, um, like with this card, you are going. Your opponent is always going to run out of locations before you run out of locations, because you need two locations to get rid of their four locations, because it's you play this, then they play their location, have to discard it. You play another, they play their location, have to discard it. Um, and if they've already played a location, then then there's only one more. So yeah. Is there anything else I need to point out? I don't think so. That's about it, right? Things are pretty standard in terms of what you would see in another, um, if you in terms of what you would see in a standard character deck, right? In Revival, at least, like Kitchen House Elves has become pretty staple since they released. There's Bill, there's Rita, like all of the like the good stuffs, as they would say in Pokemon, like are here. All of the staples, and then you see like some old stuff like Creevy and Hannah, Griphook, Quirrell, one copy of Quirrell. Mainly because of the creature matchup, I always have to keep the creature matchup in mind because I suck against creatures. I have a permanent weakness into creatures, so I have to kind of shore it up, right? I think we're just gonna move on to the sideboard, and then I'll be done with my yapping. So We have another copy of Quirrell just because my deck has that so much recursion. I figured if I'm playing against somebody that has like a very aggressive creature list, I can play multiple Quirrells and be fine. Through the Arch as a way to make Flitwick starter decks at least discard a card before they can start going off, right? I put 3 copies of Zograf in here because I'm scared of big combo decks. I'm not sure if this should have been Zograf or Winky. I've had a lot of like I was thinking about it before submitting it, and I stuck to Zograf because I think that the combination of Neville and Zograf together. So I have 2 copies of Neville in sideboard, and then these 3 in Zograf. If I feel like my opponent is really overwhelming me with the damage that they're doing, like just the sheer amount, then I can start mitigating just to sheer like just limit it to 8. Like they can only do 8 damage a turn, and then if they decide like now I'm gonna start like either removing things or I'm gonna start like attempting to do more damage, I can play multiple Zografs, like Zograf, and then mess remover my board, and then play some more to hopefully stop the bleeding, and then try to turn things around with a Rita or something like that, right? McNair for the creature matchup. So to like Curl and McNair together should basically should mean that my creature matchup should be solid, like unless I really misplay it. And then the last card I want to talk about is Mosty Potenty Potions. That's it's most potent potions, but you know, gotta mess around from time to time. Um, I'm not sure if this I'll ever use this because I have but I have a theory in which where like against Flitwick Charms Master, if I play through the Arch, and if I play through the Arch and I play the um and I've played this and I've played this the turn before, and I kick it away, and I turn off his starter plus another card, right? And then I play through the Arch. Through the Arch actually will work until I've played another most potent potions, and then they can just do it again, right? But as soon like that combo would shut off Flitwick for at least a turn, right? And then you know if I can shut them off for a turn, I can maybe win. So that's the idea behind that. Um, so yeah, I'm done yapping. I'll probably upload this after the tournament's done, and then we'll see how I did. Right? Maybe I'll do a raw review, but probably not. I just like submitting these from time to time, like just like talking over what I cooked up for a tournament, and maybe I can do some more in the future. We'll see. All right, bye bye.